Welcome to JP's Morning Brief. This is James Pierce for March 27th. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Brief. Let me write down a note real quick. All right, cool. All right, so welcome to the Morning Brief as we are getting started for the 27th of March. Can you believe we're like a week and a half from Easter already? Man, the time just keeps flying by. Well, good morning, everyone. As we get started, big news. If you were, we were all asleep. While we were sleeping, the Senate decided they wanted to go back to work. So we got some stuff on that. I have a heart out at 7 o'clock this morning. I got my wife's getting ready, going a quick one-day trip, and wanted to give her a hand trying to get ready for it. So heart out at 7. If I'm bloviating, just let me know at 7 o'clock. Like, James, you got to go. All right. Click the follow button to follow the podcast. I'm actually starting to get a good amount of followers. That's great. That is great. We can spread the conservative news out there, what's going on in the world, right? Click like. Man, tell you what, I was listening to Fox News a while ago. Man, it's only 7:20 in the morning. It was 6:20 here. And then the cat going off out there. And then click that chat button. I already got my buddy Richard Covite for life that was commenting on there on the chat. Give me an American flag in there. This is we do great stuff in the United States and in Texas too. One of the things I want to let you know, I'm going to expand on it at the 12 o'clock hour with the JPA report, is today the 190th anniversary of the Goliad Massacre, which is a very historic event in Texas. Everyone remembers the Alamo, but they don't know about Goliad. And like last night, I actually at a political event, someone said, "Tell me about Goliad." I don't know anything about it. They just know about the Goliad Massacre, and I'm getting right into it. But Goliad, we lost more Texans at Goliad than we did at the Alamo, and they weren't come from battle losses; they were come from an execution by the order of the General Santa Anna. But so I'm going to get more into that at noon. It's a historic event. When we won our independence next month, 190 years ago, the two rallying cries was "Remember the Alamo" or "Remember Goliad." Those are very, very patriotic slogans here in Texas, right? And then it escaped my mind. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. It'll hit me sooner or later, right? When you get old, it happens, right? But thank you for tuning in today. We'll get with America 250 in just a second. Richard, thank you for the American flag, for the Texas flag. He knows me. I'm all about being a Texan. I'm born and raised in Fort Worth. I love it. And I'm going to put a Texas flag in there for the day. All right. So let's go. Right. Before we get to the Iran update, I got to do the America 250. And it's a part 1 and part 2. So I'll read the remainder part tomorrow. Not tomorrow, this afternoon. Okay. Let's see where's my good stopping point. I'm going to read 2 paragraphs. Mark it. Flag it. Just like Dan Bongino said, flag it. All right. This is a letter from George Washington to Landon Carter on the 27th of March, 1776. Dear sir, I have been honored with your favor on the 20th, and although I might entrench myself behind a parade of great business with such propriety as most men, yet I shall neither avail myself of it nor be Bedard the pleasure of making this address and testimony of your kind remembrance and the favor sentiments you have pleased to express of me, to give you a detail of my distress on account of powder, arms, and other articles of most equal importance in the military arrangement would afford little amusement to you, less profit to me. I shall therefore pass these over and inform you that having received a small supply of powder, very inadequate to your wants, I resolved to take possession of Dorchester Point, laying east of Boston, looking directly into and commanding absolutely the enemy's lines on the neck, which is Boston. To effect this, which I knew would force the enemy into an engagement or an evacuation of the town, it was necessary in the first instance to possess two heights, those mentioned in General Burgoyne's letter to Lord Stanley in his account of the battles of Bunker Hill, which had the entire command of this point, the ground being frozen upwards to 2 feet deep. That's cold, and as impenetrable as a rock. Nothing could be attempted with earth. We were obliged, night of the 4th, after a severe and heavy cannonade and bombardment of the town for 3 nights, proceeding in order to divert the enemy's attention from our real object. We removed the whole under cover of the darkness and took full possession of those heights without the loss of a single man. Upon their discovery, in the next morning, great preparations were made for attacking us with their whole force, but not being ready before the afternoon, and the weather getting very tempestuous, with much blood was saved, and a very important blow to one side or the other prevented, that the remarkable interposition of Providence was designed to answer some wise purpose, I have no doubt, but as to the proposed end of the maneuver was to draw the enemy into an engagement under disadvantageous circumstances, as a premeditated plan was laid for this purpose and seemed to be succeeding to my utmost wish, and as no men would be better disposed to make an appeal than ours seemed upon this occasion, I can scarce forbear lamenting the disappointment, as we were prepared for them at all points and had chosen a corps of 4,000 men with boats ready to push into Boston upon a signal given, if the enemy would have sent out the large detachments. All right. So, wow. So, George Washington was given his buddy Landon Carter a rundown of how things progressed inside of Boston on the 17th of March, which is really cool. Remember, that is called Evacuation Day. If you did not know, the 17th of March is the victory of when the end of the siege of Boston happened. All right, so no updates on Dalmatian Texas burgers. Now for the Iran update. The first of the 82nd is somewhere in the vicinity, and so is the 31st MU Marine Expeditionary Unit. They're supposed to be somewhere in the area. I don't care because I don't want to give that information out. Some of us know about OPSEC. And then 10,000 more soldiers are in the talk about world of being deployed somewhere in the Middle East also. I wouldn't doubt if it's the rest of the 82nd Airborne. Let's see. What in the world? Afraid of losing more leaders, Iran sends a letter to the United Nations. Okay. The United Arab Emirates, they intercepted 15 missiles yesterday and 11 drones. A Thai ship was struck in the Strait of Hormuz with a projectile, and 20 personnel were rescued, and 3 are missing. Um, Germany is urging de-escalation. Um, we know that the president has delayed any type of infrastructure, energy infrastructure attacks until the 6th of April, and that's after Easter. Okay. And then Iranian hardliners still want a nuclear weapon. And then the Houthis are threatening to join the war on the side of the Iranians, which I don't think they have too much. It may be a lot of bloviating there. Um, Hezbollah attacked a Christian church in Lebanon, and Trump gives Iran 10 more days. And then the IDF claims there's been 750 Hezbollah terrorists killed. All right. Brent crude this morning is trading at $110.13 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is trading at $96.46 a barrel. And the Dow Jones closed down 469 points yesterday to 45,960. Now, just to give you a quick comparison on oil, so yesterday morning it was at 106, and the day's at 110, so it went up $4 a barrel on Brent, and West Texas Intermediate is up $3 a barrel. All right. So that is your Iranian update. And uh, now with this is a 2-part one right here, right? Got to keep track of time. Okay. Um, so while I was at Pints of Politics last night, which Richard was talking about a while ago, um, the president made a decision in which I guess he got tired of TSA agents missing paychecks, and they were about to miss a 3rd paycheck, right? And so he declared a national emergency at airports and signed an executive order immediately paying TSA agents. So it says President Donald Trump said he will sign an executive order to address airport disruptions, announcing the move in a True Social post Thursday. I missed that one, man. Because the Democrats have recklessly created a true national crisis, I am using my authorities under the law to protect our great country, Trump wrote. Therefore, I am going to sign an order to immediately pay our TSA agents in order to address the emergency situation. The move comes as the 41-day partial government shutdown has disrupted Transportation Security Administration. Okay, so that's what the president did yesterday, right? So while we were sleeping, 2:30 in the morning Eastern, which was 1:30 in the morning my time, I was out like a light, right? But because the president had went and signed that executive order, all right, the Senate finally came to an agreement on the Department of Homeland Security. So, and it's the same agreement that they've been talking about over and over and over again. The Democrats got nothing. Nothing. So it fully funds the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, let me read this, okay? Still, I'm not happy with John Thune at all. I still say he needs to be replaced. That's the decision of the Senate Republicans to make. But I am firm belief that he needs to be replaced as the majority leader. Congress is one step closer to ending the Homeland Security shutdown after the Senate advanced a new last-minute deal, but it came at the price of Republicans ceding ground temporarily, which is the whole thing, to Senate Minority Leader Chucky Schumer, which is not right. Who wrote this? Alexis Miller. Wow. The Senate unanimously advanced a deal to reopen most of the Department of Homeland Security in the wee hours. She actually put the word "we" in a news article. Uh, Friday morning, 42 days into the shutdown that spurred um, that was spurred by Trump administration's immigration status in Minnesota. Um, in it was an agreement that largely gave Schumer and Senate Democrats what they wanted: no funding for ICE, which ICE is already funded. The funding they don't want is for additional training. All right, because ICE is already funded. And oh yeah, by the way, for the people out there that think that ICE is undertrained, they're like a bunch of rent-a-cops. Go look at the training requirements for an immigration and customs enforcement officer for ERO, which is what these guys are. It's 16 weeks of training, 16 plus 25 days of of uh, Spanish, right? We ain't trying to make them Hispanic fluent in Spanish, man. Okay, but that's beside the point. Um, while the deal mirrors previous attempts by Democrats to pass similar legislation and carved out immigration funding, Thune argued that Democrats are still walking away empty-handed in the policy fight over immigration enforcement. We've been trying for weeks to fund the whole thing. I mean, in the end, this is what they were willing to agree, but again, it's different because it has zero reforms in it. I mean, they got zero reforms on DHS, which they could have done if they had been willing to work with us a little bit on that. Um, so what's going to happen is they're going to need a reconciliation bill, and they're talking about doing two, but they're going to need a reconciliation bill to open up the funding for Department of Homeland Security, and then put all the money that they didn't put in for the ICE, and there's not a thing that Democrats can do about it at all. And my recommendation to them is when they do this, plus up the funding that takes it all the way into 2029 that nobody else can do anything about. No, they can't do nothing about it at all. Even if the Democrats somehow was able to take the House or the Senate next year's in this year's midterms, the president is just going to veto it. So plus up the funding, so the Democrats can't go in and screw everything up again, right? Our nation's security has a lot on the line for little penny ante little gimmicks like what they were trying right here. All right. So next is really really cool. So how many of y'all know that presidents' signatures are never applied to dollar bills or a paper currency, right? Did you know that, Richard? I know Richard's on there. Uh, so how many people we got? We got 8 people watching live, which is cool. Man, that's a good number. All right. So wish we had some more. If you are watching on there, put an American flag in the chat if you can. If you're driving down the road listening to me, don't do it. But if you're watching at home, put an American flag in there because this is cool. So it was announced yesterday at the cabinet meeting because the president had a cabinet meeting. All right. So U.S. dollar bills will not the dollar bill, but the $100 bill. U.S. dollar bills will bear President Donald Trump's signature to mark the 250th anniversary of the American independence. The Treasury Department said a first for a sitting president. Uh, Trump's signature will be placed on all U.S. Whoa, okay, I did not know that. Uh, Trump's signature will be placed on all U.S. paper currency and will replace the treasurer of the United States signature on the U.S. money for the first time in 165 years. Um, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the move will recognize the Trump administration's historic achievements. Under President Trump's leadership, we are on a path toward unprecedented economic growth, lasting dollar dominance, and fiscal strength and stability, Bassett said in a statement. He's the Treasury Secretary. There is no more powerful way to recognize the historic achievements on our great country and President Donald J. Trump than the U.S. dollar bills bearing his name, and it is only appropriate that this historic currency be issued at the semi-quincentennial celebration of the United States. Okay? Semi-quincentennial is the 250th anniversary. The first $100 bills with the signatures of Trump and Treasury Secretary Bassett will be produced in June, followed by other denominations in the coming months. And that is really awesome. You know, even though I don't have a whole lot of money to throw around, I don't have very much money to throw around. Man, you know what? I'm going to get I'm go to the bank. Hey, can I get $100 bill with Trump's signature on it? I'm going to get the 1, the 2. Hopefully I do it with the $2 bill also. The 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, 20, 50, and 100. And keep them in a safe place. And let's see, I hope my kids probably aren't listening right now, especially Rebecca. But I am going to I'm gonna get a collection of those, put them in a safe spot. And Nathaniel, when he gets old enough and I'm long gone, he can get. Nathaniel's my grandson. I'll make sure that when I'm gone, my daughter gives those bills to my grandson. That'd be great. Oh my goodness, man, that's cool. So I would need 150, 170, 180, 185, $188 so I can get these. Boy, at least I can do math, guys, right? All right. So, oh yeah. So Richard put an American flag in. That's great for our semi-quincentennial, and I'm going to do the same thing. Shoo! Hey, come on! If y'all are out there in Rumble Land, put an American flag in the chat for me. All right. All right. So as we keep moving along, in the president won a court case yesterday in the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. So some activist judge ruled that that ICE could not use, federal agents could not use chemical deterrents. If you know what I mean, that's CS gas, okay? On protesters outside federal buildings in Portland. And they lost that case in district court due to an activist judge. And Pam Bondi went and appealed the case and went to the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, and they ruled 2-1 in favor of the president, allowing his federal agents to use CS to deter protests or riots. When you have an unauthorized protest, it's called a riot. We know that. So an appeals court paused a pair of lower court rulings in Oregon that restricted federal agents' use of tear gas and other crowd control munitions during a protest outside U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in Portland. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit granted the Trump administration's request for temporary administration stays in 2 cases in a 2-1 ruling. Anti-ICE demonstrators have held protests at buildings since June. The unemployed community hard at work as part as protests across the country challenging President Trump's mass deportation agenda. The 2 lawsuits were filed over federal agents' crowd control tactics one brought by the ACLU, um, American Cockeye Lawyers United of Oregon, on behalf of protesters and freelance journalists, and the other was brought by residents of an affordable housing complex across from the street from the ICE building. Okay, so my heart goes out to the residents. My heart doesn't go out to those rioters in the streets causing those residents to be affected by CS gas. The that those activist judges should have never, ever, ever interfered with the federal agents doing their job, because those residents would have never been affected, or they might have had one evening worth. But this was their attempt to quell those riots and disperse those crowds. All right. And, and are you calling me a cool cat or what? Got a chatter in there. Oh, it's Richard. Oh, that's cool. I like that. But yeah, um, if if that judge would have allowed the Trump administration to dispel the riots, everything would have been cool. But you have judges all across the country that are appointed by Democrats, or they like thumbing their nose at the president and keeping his administration at bay and won't let them do their job, which affects the lives of Joe and Jane out there in regular civilian land. And but the president won. That's good. So bring some stability back to the Portland area. What are we looking at? We're at 6:57. All right. So I am about out of time here. So let me go back over here real quick. Let me read you one thing. So here in Texas, on the Texas scorecard is written, okay, Texas moves to block professional and trade licenses for illegal aliens. We call it TDLR, Texas Department of License Regulation. Beginning May 1st, which is a month from now, Texas will bar individuals who cannot prove they are lawfully present in the U.S. from claiming or renewing state-issued professional and occupational licenses. The new rule follows a recent opinion by Attorney General Ken Paxton. In February, Paxton withdrew a 2001 legal opinion issued by then Attorney General John Cornyn, who is, wow, that's a scenario right there, right? And then, oh yeah, that had been issued. That had been used to let the state agency issue occupational licenses to illegal aliens who lacked social security numbers. That's stupid. The rule approved by TDLR commissioners will require denial of a license if the applicant does not provide sufficient documentation, such as a real ID, compliant driver's license, which is required in Texas, or a U.S. passport or a Texas handgun license, which if you don't have the real ID, you're not going to get a handgun license. All right. So if you did not know, in Texas, for TDLR, to get a license to be an electrician, to be a plumber, to be a barber, there's a whole suite, taxi cab driver. I believe it's even, I think it may be a bartender too, I think, or that might be TABC. But you have to go through this organization to get a license to be able to do almost anything, and that is really good. So Texans can get licenses without the fear of being crowded out in other places of employment by non-Texas or non-U.S. citizens. All right, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So we're closing in on 7. So that is, see, I forgot to turn my alarm off again. I'm sorry about that. Man, that means it's hard out. Time to go, right, guys? So Richard and AC also. Yes, HVAC. On the money. Yeah, Richard said that too. It applies to HVAC also with the TLR. Yes. Man, you're on the money, man. I might need to bring you in here at 6:30 in the morning. You can help me out, and you can sit right beside me. Your wife would kill you, man. I think my wife would kill me for bringing someone in the house at 6:30 in the morning. All right. So, hey, y'all have a great morning. I will see y'all at 12 with the JP8 report. It'll be the last thing for this weekend. I'll be off the air all the way until what do you call it, Monday. And tomorrow, just so Richard knows, at 11 o'clock tomorrow is Coryell County Republican Women at Trinity Worship Center, 1802 Martin Luther King. But at noon, we convene our precinct, because Richard's in my precinct. Precinct convention and county convention in Coryell County takes place tomorrow at that same location at 1802 Martin Luther King, which is Trinity Worship Center, and that's where we develop our plank and resolutions and appoint delegates for Coryell County. So that starts off tomorrow at 12. That's one of the basic functions of being a precinct chair and stuff, and I can hear Vince in the background. So I'm going to sign off, and I will see y'all at noon, all right? So James Pierce, the JP8 report and the morning brief. I will check y'all later. I am out.